Welcome to Life It with DVD. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. Today, I wanted to talk about whether your environment conditions you or you condition your environment. And this is just a really interesting kind of paradox, but also just kind of perception shift in the way that you can look at any situation that you're in and uh, figure out, well, one, how you got there, what beliefs and attitudes led you to get there, and also how you can get yourself out of it. Um, so this is just like such an interesting, interesting kind of perspective shift for me because when you look at the situation you're in, right, in any environment that you have created it. It starts with a choice. Um, a choice. If you are an adult, right, and you have the ability to make choices, right, there's always a choice. Your choices might be limited in what you're doing and what you can do, what you can think, how you choose to manage yourself. If you're at a cognitive level, if you're an adult that has the ability to think, right, you can make these choices. And um, when you make choices, right, they create your environment. Um, you know, what you chose to do in the morning, right? Whether you chose to go to the coffee shop and get a coffee, or if you chose to just stay at home and make your own coffee, or go out, go somewhere, go to some sort of gathering, right? These are all choices that you have made to put yourself in a specific situation, in a specific environment. And this can be individual situations, such as going to a coffee shop or a location or staying at home, or something that is a little bit more permanent, such as a job or a home or the country that you live in, right? These are choices you've made that have really cultivated the environment you live in. Now, a lot of people, what I find is, including myself, is we forget that we have created the situation, the environment that we are in. And because we have created it, we also can create a better environment if it's not working for us, if it's not what we want. And I think that gets lost on a lot of us because, I mean, the most easy one to really think of when I say that is your job, right? We feel stuck a lot of times in our job because we need our job for money, right? Or at least that's a very common way to look at it. However, right, we don't have to stay in that job, right? We can put ourselves in a situation where, hey, maybe we don't need that job. Maybe our finances suffer in the short term, but we can opt out of it. We can go into something else, even if there are significantly high costs to that. And that feels like it's not a choice, right? Because a lot of times you see your job as almost a part of you. You identify with it. You might get status and recognition from that sort of thing. So to quit, to move on to something else, feels impossible, right? Because it feels like it's part of you. But if it's in an environment that is not conducive for your mental health, emotional health, your physical health, maybe something needs to shift. Maybe you need to start developing a plan, imagining, right? Getting into your mind's eye and imagining a better environment that would work for you, that you might feel better in, that you might feel like you would think better in, and that would be maybe a little bit more slower pace, or a better pace to how you want to live. That is an example of you creating your environment, right? But a lot of the times when we get into certain situations, work, home situations, you know, there's like a stagnation that happens where we get into it, it seems good, everything's functioning, or maybe it's not functioning, and then all of a sudden our awareness changes. We realize, oh wait, maybe this isn't a good situation for me, or this isn't a healthy behavior, or this isn't a healthy environment, and something shifts inside us, right? Because we are growing, intentional, human beings, right? Over time, with more information, with more experience, we change. That's the natural state of life. And when we do change, we might realize that, hey, this environment that we're in isn't what I want to be in anymore. And maybe it was, but you've changed. And because you've changed, you might need to find something new, something better that's more conducive for the lifestyle that you want to live and your growth in a specific direction, right? Whatever that vision is for you. Um, so, how do you do that, right? I talk about this all the time. Um, how do you do that, right? Uh, yeah, you get into your mind's eye. You imagine. You get intentional with your actions. You get intentional with your thoughts about how you feel about this situation, and you move yourself and you move your awareness to that better future, right? And you basically take small actions to move yourself in just baby steps in the direction that you feel and that you think would be better, right? And this doesn't have to be a black and white process. This can be an exploratory process, but it's a process of problem solving and realizing that you aren't stuck, but you can create your environment. You've created the environment you're in, and you can create a new one. And maybe this is something that is like, it's very obvious. It's very just very simple. I mean, it is simple, but I just think that we get locked into our thought patterns sometimes, which have been conditioned by our environment, and it really takes almost like us breaking to a degree, like it mentally, emotionally, like the crap where you're ripping your hair out 'cause you can't take it anymore. It takes a breaking point, where you have to realize that you can change these things, and you need to change these things, especially if you're at your breaking point. Because at the other side, is a much better future, and often we just don't remember that. We have forgotten how to be human. We've forgotten that to be human is to change. We aren't robots, even though our society is pushing ourselves and being more productive and being a more robotic and structured and time management and scheduled and productivity and having all of these things right mapped out for us. We lose the simplicity of slowing down and being intentional and looking at the things that are boring, or what we perceive as boring, or that we perceive as being unproductive, such as just simple things like staring at our hand, right? And just admiring the natural, right, the natural things that we have been given and that exist, and just kind of contemplating that, and just being like, wow, pretty amazing that I'm here, that I'm alive, that I exist, that I can think, and to that end, that you can create a better environment for you than the one you might be in right now. And yeah, I just think that's just such a incredible perspective shift, uh, or just to remember that sort of thing where we can change our environment and our environment thus conditions us. So try to tap into that and just see how you feel in your environment. Do you feel good? Do you feel comfortable and in a state of flow in your life? Maybe it's just one sort of environment that you're in that doesn't feel like you. Um, you know, but can you maybe condition yourself to blend in with that environment? Sure, but do you want to, right? Or does that feel unauthentically you, right? If you feel that way and it's really distressing you, just kind of feel into that a bit more of whether that feels like it resonates. If you want to live like that, if you want to live with a mask on, blending in that environment, or if you want to try to go a direction where you don't have to put on a mask and blend in like a chameleon. You can be yourself, and there's a place where that you can create with your work and the way you portray yourself. That is that. Um, so once again, just think about that, ponder it a little bit, and see if it has any effect on you. Uh, I thought this kind of perspective shift was really interesting, just because we forget it. We forget that we choose the situations that we're in, and that our situations will condition us. They will, they will shape us to how the environment and the culture is. So if you aren't intentional with that, if you didn't create it and you feel like you fell into this thing, then maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not you. And you're just fitting into a situation that you just feel stuck in. And to me, I've been in situations like that, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel authentic, and sometimes that's what we want. It's what we need to be ourselves in this existence while we have time here. Um, so if that makes sense to you, let me know. Let me know how you go about shifting that perspective, how you create your own environment, and are you aware that your environment is conditioning you? Um, so interesting to think about. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and until next time, talk to you later. Bye.